Go Whales.
Wow, that was quick. Welcome to the Instigators Hockey Show. I got the glowing guy in the background. I got Chris Katsopoulos over here.
I got the usual junk behind me.
I always got the moose and a cold beer in the Paulie D mug.
D mug. Did you fix that? Because I thought the letters were falling off that thing.
No, the letters were good. The mask came off.
Okay. Yep. There we go.
Check it out. We got the new store up and running. I don't know if you can see it, everyone. Pretty excited. Bet that it'll work.
You should let them know what to punch in.
So once Beth lets me know that it's live and kicking, probably I would think for the weekend, we'll have some merch back up. Sorry for the delay. I got robbed. I got some presents that I still never got, but whatever.
We're gonna start with that. We might as well. Hey, everybody, let's start the song Tops. All in favor of the Washington Capitals and the Pittsburgh Gwins out of the playoffs for the first time in years?
No Crosby, no Ovechkin.
I feel a little, you know me. I feel a little about Pittsburgh because I do have a friend who played in that organization called Pierre LaRouche, but I love the fact that Washington's out the most, though. I think that's great. Screw that.
The first thing I gotta ask, hopefully Bethel's gonna join us here, but when is the last time, if ever, Beth? When is the last time, if ever, that both the Washington Capitals and the Penguins haven't been in the playoffs since they both
since the Great Ape and the kid?
The Great Ape and the shit kid.
Oh yeah, here we go. We're not going to compare numbers again, are we?
The Great Ape and the Crybaby.
No, Ape.
Oh, I said 8.
I said 8.
So I'd like to know when and if that has ever occurred. That both teams
honestly, since they both came into the league, I don't know who came in first. Was it Ovechkin or Crosby? I don't know if they're 1 year apart, but I don't think they missed the playoffs together. I don't think that's for
sure. I know. And are you sure? I thought they were drafted the same year, weren't they?
No, because Crosby was a number 1 overall pick.
Oh, right.
Are you insinuating that Ovechkin was a number 1 overall pick? He might have been, but he might have been a year earlier. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Good question. So, of course, we have Beth, who's amazing. Beth, the other thing is you shared with me our store. Nice job. Good work.
Yes. But it didn't pop up on my phone because I live in Pennsylvania, so the waves are, for the phone aren't coming in properly.
He lives in Pennsylvania, so I shared the link that you sent with me.
Well, by the way, I got to interrupt you again. It's 80-something degrees here today. Every friggin' gnat is out again. How do you guys live like that down there?
80 degrees. Wow, it's hotter there than it is here, big boy.
It was in the mid-80s today.
Well, it's in the low 70s here.
So you know where I was all day, right?
Yeah, in the house.
Inside.
Anyway, without further ado, being interrupted again, I'm trying to do business, and he wants to talk weather. Conti, the big Greek, the weather guy. No, if you could share and let us know all that work that you did for the merchandise, let me know if it's up and running. If you could share that on both the Instigator page and obviously our pages, we'll get that running. Conti couldn't load it. The one that you gave me, I know that you were still in the workings. Obi was 2004, first overall.
Boo.
What year was Sid? What year was Sid, Cox?
I think it was 205.
So a year later. Anyway, thank you, Michael. But and then we'll go from there. We got a lot to do.
Richard Mason, by the way, right? Michael. Huh? It's Michael Richard Mason.
Michael Richard Mason. Hey, I got to come up for some linguine and clam sauce. Where'd we go that time? Vinny's? What was the name of that place?
I can't remember now.
They had a really good old fashioned,
Oh yeah.
and they had some of the best linguine and clam sauce. That was a good night, Mike. We're
You
gonna
know
do
what
it
though?
again.
You know what though? I found a place in Allentown for us next time you come up.
Nice.
It's
God bless you.
right
Happy
by your
Easter.
airport there. You can just fly in, eat dinner, get back on the plane, and go home.
Get out of here already. All right.
All right, let's get down to business
I
here.
got a lot of questions people are asking me. They want to ask you. They want to ask me. They want to know our opinions. Lot to do. Obviously, we'll talk New York Rangers in a few. Got one more game tomorrow night against Toronto. Doesn't really mean anything for the New York Rangers, so
It means something to me because I will be there.
everyone needs to rest that needs to rest and just let other people play. But then again, the problem with the Rangers against the cap, I don't know if they could even do that. They can't sit people and let other people play. So I don't know what's going to happen there. With that being said,
Vincent's.
what?
Vincent's.
Yeah, I figured. Um, I know that the West is set for playoffs, right?
Yeah, but I think there's still a possibility of teams moving around.
So
Like Edmonton could finish second overall, possibly first, whatever. Calgary just took a big shit. Let's call it what it is. They had every opportunity to get into that last spot. Winnipeg wasn't doing great. Calgary just took a big, major shit. So who knows what's going to happen over there with the GM Treveling and Sutter. I'm pretty sure Sutter is not real happy with the way that team performed this year. So who knows? Maybe he'll just go back to the large Sutter farm there, west and just relax a little bit. But I'm really disappointed in Calgary personally. I'd be wild if I was a ticket holder for that team.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got think about what they did last year, and it's funny because I was just watching and listening, but Huberdeau comes over, they lose Kachuk, but Kadri wound up in Calgary this year, didn't he?
What's that?
Nazem Kadri was in Calgary this year.
Yeah, and they lost Goudreau too, Johnny Goudreau. Remember a couple of years ago or before the season, 2 years ago. Whatever. They lost a lot of big name players there, but they did replace them with good names on paper, but they just didn't gel as a team. And you just can't keep losing 1-goal games towards the end, which they did the last month or so. They were losing in overtime. They were losing in shootouts. They're getting beat, whatever, And there's probably going to be some action going on there, whether players move or I got a feeling management's going to be moved there first. That's it for the West right now, Paulie. You still got you're the team Vegas. I mean, boy, I'm still shocked at them.
Vegas?
I never thought in a million years they'd be the first overall team this year. Never thought.
109 points, big boy.
Yeah, I thought they might. I don't know if I even said they'd make the playoffs this year.
They have more points than the New York Rangers right now.
Well, it's a little easier to play out west, so that means nothing to me.
Hold on.
The West has probably some of the worst teams in the league in it right now.
Hold on. I made a mistake. Hold on. I made a mistake. Yeah, we were talking about the Golden Knights. Yeah, 109 points. Yep. So it's all set in the wild card. The Seattle and Winnipeg have locked themselves in. Calgary's out. I don't know that there's much to do.
Thank you, Beth. It was 2006, I think, for Crosby when he came in the league.
Dallas can finish first if they win tonight.
And are they winning?
2006.
Last time I saw, they were tied.
I don't have the scores up just yet. I mean, I can only do one thing at a time there, big boy.
I can go to it, but then you'd lose my big, wonderful mug.
I know you can't. I know you can't handle the split screen, buddy.
Hey.
All right, let's see the scores tonight, big boy. Wow. The Islanders and Montreal's giving the Islanders a fit. It looks like it's 3-2 over there. They need to just handle that. Let's see here. 3-2. The Islanders need that hockey game. It's very, very important for them.
Boy, do they ever! If they don't win this game, Pittsburgh plays who they play tomorrow. They play somebody soft. I think Columbus.
I don't know.
And again, they played somebody soft the other night, Chicago, and Chicago put the boots to them.
You're right. Pittsburgh is knocking on the door with 90 points.
Yeah, and they lost to Chicago yesterday, 5-2.
Yeah, that's a big time loss.
Oh, huge. My former partner in Toronto, Luke Richardson, coming up large with the Blackhawks. Put a little Florida in Pittsburgh's ass,
Yeah. Tomorrow, the Hurricanes play the Panthers tomorrow. Tell me how much that matters for everybody, huh? That solidifies, so could solidify Hurricanes at number one, or it could solidify the Panthers making and keeping a playoff spot. Keeping a playoff spot and staying in the first seed instead of the second seed in the wild card. That's a big game. It's a big game for both teams. Obviously it's more important for Florida, but I don't know. I don't know. Carolina wants to keep that number one spot. I don't think they want to play the Rangers, first. I want the Rangers to play Carolina in the first round. I really do. I would much rather be locked up against Carolina in the first round than the Devils. The Devils struggled against the Rangers struggled against the Devils this year. So I don't know, but we're going to do the playoff brackets anyway as they sit right now, and then we'll do a couple of scenarios if it changes, but we'll do it as it sits right now. I don't know. Is there any specific item that you want to cover before we get into all this other stuff? Because we got so many other things to talk about.
There was a former player. He only played about 10 or 11 games in the NHL, but he passed away yesterday playing a pickup hockey game. His name was Sawada. I'm not sure if it was Richard Sawada or Robert Sawada. He was a second-round draft choice of, I think, the Dallas Stars way back when or something. He had a heart attack in the middle of a pickup game, Paulie, at 38 years of age.
Jesus.
So my condolences go out to him. I always say if you played one game of pro hockey, you're in the group. If you played one game in the NHL, you're definitely in the group. You know what I mean? So it's sad to talk about. I know I have to throw that in there. I just read that today. It was really shitty to read about. Young guy, man, 38 years old.
Yeah, very young.
But other than that, I was talking with you before the show about Pasternak closing in on David there with goals, hitting the 60 mark the other day. We all know how great the Boston Bruins are right now, but Pasternak, he's not letting up at all, Paulie. He popped 60, and then there's another guy, Rantanen, out of nowhere in Colorado's got 54. You know what I mean? Did anybody see that coming out of him?
Right? Let me see. Let's get to the stats here.
There's some pretty good numbers out there right now on a lot of players.
Got some good goal scorers this year, We'll do.
Considering how shit Colorado was at the beginning, remember how bad they were at the beginning? They looked like they weren't even going to make the playoffs at one time. Now they're battling. They still have a slim chance of getting first overall for the end of this regular season. They came out of nowhere. McKinnon missed 10 games this year, 11 games already this year. He's still got 107 points. So how good is he?
Yeah, he's awesome. Connor McDavid, 152. Jesus.
Yeah.
Neil Draisaitl, 125.
And then I think is Nugent Hopkins got 100?
Kucherov, 112. Pasternak, 111. Wow.
Do you have enough there to see if Nugent Hopkins has 100 now or not?
What, points?
Yeah, because if he does, that's three guys on one team. I know that's not very, that was a common thing in my day with the Edmonton Oilers, but today it's not.
Nugent Hopkins is number 8 with 103 points.
Wow. So is Edmonton going to be the team this year? Finally.
1 and 2 with McDavid and Draisaitl, and then number 8 with Nugent Hopkins. You got Pasternak. Pasternak's got 111 points. Then nobody else on Boston even ranks after that. That's what I don't get, man.
Oh, but if you go look at the
I know.
To see how many guys have got in the 15 to 20 range.
You got Ratton, like you said, with Nathan McKinnon on Colorado, right? Not bad. 102 points. That's no joke right there, man.
54 goals is no joke.
Eric Carlson, the first time since Brian Leach with a defenseman with 100 points. Another guy, Jack Hughes with 97 points. But again, the only devil to be in this to be in here. So it's crazy. Edmonton's got some ranking players, man. Let me tell you.
I looked up the Devils just in case, Paulie. They play the Rangers in the playoffs, and
right.
Jack Hughes may rank in the top 15, 10 scoring wise, but they got 8 guys in that team who scored 20 goals or more. Yeah. So,
well,
that being said, believe it or not, the Rangers have 7.
Igor Shesterkin is in the top 10. Linus Ullmark.
Oh boy.
Goals against average 1.89. Who's the last goalie to have under a 2? Who's the last goalie to have under a 2 for goals against average? 1.89. That's effing crazy. Save percentage 938. How many shutouts? And Sorokin, we're going to talk about them in a few. He leads the league with 6.
You know who's next?
Yeah.
Alexander Georgiev with 5.
Yep. He actually really has done well for them, man.
I always listen. I liked him as a Ranger. A lot of people didn't. I liked him, but they had no choice but decide on who's going to be number 1A instead of 1A and 1B.
Yeah.
I think they made the right choice with Shesterkin.
Well.
But I knew Georgia was good enough to play.
Oh, excuse me. Golly.
Rough day at work today.
I gotta keep that under control. All right, so here we go. I don't know what questions did we ask? So Sydney was number 1 overall in 2006?
I believe so. I think Beth put that up, 2006. You've paused on me. There you go. You're back.
2006, huh? And then it was 2004 for Ovechkin?
Yeah.
All right. So I mean,
that's about right. Ovechkin's like close to 40 now, and Sid's right around mid 30s, 35, 36. So
yeah,
it's like 38, right? Isn't he? Something like that.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, other than, I think we have a lot of playoff work to do here. So
yeah, let's get into it. Like, what do you think here? Like, if let's do it right now. Like, let's do the East first, where we'll pretend that Boston's going to play the Islanders. What do you think about that? Like, how many games? Do you think the Islanders got a shot?
Well, I'll tell you.
What do you feel deep down?
We were talking about this, and if it's up to me, I hope that Boston plays the Islanders. And I'm going to tell you a couple reasons why. And Ranger fans might not like this, but I will tell you, Gotzi and I talked about this. Do not underestimate the Islanders. If there is a if there's a wild card, if there's a dark horse in this fucking series in the East, it's the New York Islanders. I just said Sorokin's number 1 in shutouts. He's been their top player. They went, don't forget they got a good strong 4th line that's heavy. I really think that they're a team that can at least wear Boston down a little bit, and kind of bring them to everyone else's reality of what the Stanley Cup playoffs are. I think they have a couple different elements, and I would like to see that matchup just to see Boston become real again and not so, high. And I think the Islanders are the team that could do it. I think Boston rolls over the Florida Panthers, if I'm being honest. I think that's a fucking 4-0 shutout. I don't think the Panthers take a game from them, if I'm being honest. The Islanders, on the other hand, I think that series can go 6 games, possibly 7. And I mean, as Kotz said before, any series that goes 7 games, anything can happen. A chip, a tip, whatever. So I think the Islanders are a good team to start off against Boston. And if nothing else, bring Boston down to a reality, wear them out a little bit, humble them a little bit, and make them not feel so much larger than life. That's my opinion with that one.
Well, you and I, again, we discussed it before the show. I think the Islanders match up well with them when it comes to the size and physicality. Personally, I think they could probably grind a little better because I think they're bigger overall. Okay. Only question I have is who's injured, who's not there. Is Horvat still 100%? I think Barzell's out. You know what I mean? These are guys that score. I mean,
yeah.
So, I could see it going 6 games, but I don't think they have enough to beat the Boston Bruins. Period. Bruins are just too well balanced a team. I've said it all year. I've been waiting for them to see some kind of a crack in their armor, chink in their armor, whatever you want to call it. I haven't seen it yet. So, but I do agree with you. I think for the other teams that aren't playing, them right off the bat, if you have any hope at all of beating the Bruins somewhere along the line, you need them to be worn down a little bit.
Right.
A little injury here, a little injury there, a little, minor aches and pains and all that crap. That's all the stuff that never gets talked about in the playoffs. Guys playing hurt, guys playing, with a little soreness and stuff like that. And the only way that happens is you got to play physical against the Bruins. You have no choice. Because for some reason, you're just not going to beat that team by thinking you're just going to go up and down the ice. You know what I mean?
Right. I don't disagree.
Hey, there we go. Toronto. Alex Tannis. What's going on?
Hey,
we're going to get to the Leafs too soon. Don't worry. I still have a soft spot for the Leafs too, guys. So
I'm excited for the Leafs. I'm very excited. Hold on. We're going to get there. So
now you said about Florida. I agree with you, but I will give them at least a game. They'll win 1 game.
Yeah, I don't know.
You think the Bruins come out the big sweepage?
I do.
Really? I don't know.
I don't think Florida matches up well at all against.
I'm still going to give them 1 game. They get beat 5. That's my prediction.
I think the Bruins sweep Florida. I think they go to 6 games with the Islanders. So
all right, I got 6 with you too with the Islanders, but I got 5 in 5. I'm marking these down so we can.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's just keep going down the line here. So we'll stay in the Atlantic with Toronto and Tampa Bay. I'll tell you what, Kotz, I know we talked about this. Last night was fun to watch.
Boy, was that ever.
I got to tell you, and I keep telling this, I mean, obviously I'm here in Tampa Bay, and, I go to a lot of games and things like that, but that Corey Perry boy, he's just a
dirty prick.
A real dirty prick is a great word. And I tell you, 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, when Harper had his ass on the ground on the ice and just, burying him and talking to him and just telling him what a piece of shit he was. I tell you, that guy has really become just a really he's become the new Marchand to me. I know Brad Marchand was, for a long time had a very bad reputation for doing stupid things. Perry's just really filthy. He does a lot of filthy shit, man. and I don't like that. But more importantly, in this series, I thought you made a great point off air before we got on. I was really excited to see Shen go after Maroon, and I think he did a hell of a job. I don't know if there was really a winner there, but
there was a winner there. Luke won that.
I think it was great, and I think it makes a statement. You're not going to walk all over us. You're not going to throw your body around and not have to pay the price. So it was good. I see Toronto. I still see this thing going the distance, man. I see these teams going 7 games. I think you can't count out Tampa Bay, but I think Toronto finally has what it takes. They have the gumption, they have the confidence, they have the goal scoring. I think they have the package now. And I think, like you said, I think, Tampa has fell down a notch now. I think Braden Point's huge in this series. You got to see that. But I think Toronto takes this in 7 games.
Well, I think it's this year for Toronto too. And my reason for that is that everybody's been, kind of complaining over the year, including me, how they always seem to come up short, and nobody's really paid attention to them this year. But 2 keys here, Paulie. When I saw Luke Shen beat the crap out of Maroon last night, I don't care what anybody says, go look at the fight on Hockey Fights. He won the fight, period. End of story. Don't even argue with me. And then a guy like Ryan O'Reilly, the pickup from St. Louis, another physical guy when needed to be. He stepped up last night, too, in a physical way as well. And I kind of like what Bunting did with your favorite player there, Corey Perry, by the boards. And this was that little piece that I didn't see in the Toronto Maple Leafs over the years. They tried to do it with Simmons in the lineup, but then he never played on a consistent basis in the playoffs for him to do anything. They still have him there, which is a good thing, but you have to have that element when you're playing Tampa, because everybody wants to talk about how great Tampa is with their talent, with the Kucherovs and this and that, and the goaltending and all that. But they still got some gritty, dirty, physical, cheap shot hockey players that seem to get away with a lot of stuff in the playoffs because they are 2-time Stanley Cup champions. So if the referee gets a little wishy-washy with them, so I believe the Leafs have enough to fight back in that physical way this year, where they almost beat them just with their skill last year, but it wasn't enough because they weren't physical enough, I think, to play with Tampa.
Right.
The year that, if needed, they could put Shen in the lineup. Okay? You understand what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
That's enough right there just to say to the boys on Tampa's bench, you saw what I did to your number 1 tough guy. Yeah. It can happen again. And I know we're all ex-teammates and everything, but you know what? He was a Toronto Maple Leaf first.
Right.
First round draft choice of the Leafs many moons ago. So, I like the Leafs' chances. I like I'm going to say that it's probably going to go 7, just like you. But I like the Leafs' chances this year.
All right.
Toronto. Just remember that.
Yeah, I'd like to. I mean, I tell you, that's going to be some fun hockey to watch, man. I find that's going to be a real. I tell you, I really hope, like I said, Boston plays the Islanders. I think that's going to be a much closer series than most people believe. I think Boston obviously is the better team, but I think the Islanders just match up well, like we said. And then Toronto, Tampa. I think Tampa's on the down click. Toronto's on the up kick. 7 games. I think, like you said, though, they bring more of a physical element. They're not going to be pushed around against Tampa Bay. And Tampa has really showed themselves this year to be human. Again, another full year, 82 game season. This isn't the COVID Cup. The thing, there's travel involved. There's all kinds of things involved.
Well, I'm going to eat my words if they don't. Okay, Toronto, because I've been against Tampa all year. I don't think they have it again.
I don't disagree with you.
I've been saying it to you all year.
I don't disagree.
They're still a good hockey team. Can they be dangerous? But let's put it this way, I don't think anybody fears them anymore. How's that?
Right.
There's nothing to fear playing Tampa now.
Right. Carolina. Now,
either it's going to be Florida or He is
So,
Linders, right?
well, we did Boston against both.
All right, so let's do this one now. Yeah.
We got to do Carolina versus Florida.
Just before you do that, Ed Belfour was the last goalie. Michael Richard Mason said about under 2 goals against average.
Yeah,
so,
that's Sorokin. I mean, still, that's pretty sick, man. That's pretty sick stuff.
And Eddie Belfour was a damn good goalie, even though he's a little psycho, but he was a great goalie.
Yeah. All right. So, let's go with Carolina. We'll go with the matchup right now as if it would be Carolina versus Florida. This is where I give Florida a little more credit than I did against Boston. I think Florida matches up pretty good with Carolina. I think Carolina wins the series, but I think, again, this is a series that everyone's going to be surprised that it's going to go more than 5 games. I think it's a 6 or 7 game series, but I see, obviously, I'll go with Carolina just for the sake of saying I think they're a better team overall, and I think they have a lot more consistency, and they're very well coached.
Yeah, Florida's actually played pretty good down the stretch because there was a time a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, I thought they had Bob Hope and no hope of making the playoffs, period. But they came on pretty good. Carolina is just a team that plays real shit, boring style of hockey that makes you play that way too. They really do. I mean, that's the kind of hockey they play. So I'm not going to go against Carolina on this one. I might have last year, but not this year. I think it's probably going to go 6 games, and I'm going to give it to Carolina this time. Maybe Florida can do something, but I don't know if they're good enough to really break down that Carolina boring type hockey. I just don't think they can do it. So I'm going Carolina in 6.
Then you got Carolina versus
Islanders.
The Islanders.
Let me go first.
Beth, what's the Islanders score right now? Why don't you go first, Kotz?
I am going to go first. I'm going to make it simple. Islanders will win that series in 7 games.
Woo!
That's it.
Whoa. I'm going to flip on you. I'm going to this is the one I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to say that Carolina beats the Islanders in a 7 game series.
Okay. At least we got it right down to 7.
All right.
And we'll flip a coin that night, you and I.
Hold on. I lost it here. The Rangers.
Oh, okay.
And the Devils. Rangers, Devils. Gonna let you go first.
I'm taking the Rangers, obviously. I've been pumping the Devils all year. I've told you that they're for real.
You have.
They proved they were for real all year. They contended for the number 1 overall spot, most of the year. They had a little setback there about a month and a half ago. Had they not, they probably would have been right there with the Bruins. But here's my reasoning right now. All the machinations and all the mix-ups and all the line changes and all the stuff the Rangers, have done this year to get where they are, which was a pretty damn good season overall when you think about it. On paper, I still think the Rangers are more talented, okay? On paper. And we're going by past history, too, because guys are a little older, like Kane, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Here's the only reason why I'm going with the Rangers other than being a little biased. Devils haven't been in the playoffs for a long time, Paulie. And this is a pretty young group that's leading the team. They got some veterans like Tatar and stuff like that have been around, but the guys that are leading this team are all still young and have never really been in playoff hockey. So I'm hoping that they get a little stage fright. This is what I'm hoping for, because that can happen. It happened to the Leafs all those years, Paulie, where they were supposed to win with the young guys, Matthews and Marner and all these guys, and it didn't happen. And I'm thinking this is a chance for the Rangers to stand up and show what they got. But I'm also, I'm going to be a little cautious about it too. They got to clean up the D zone. The D zone is still wide open freeway hockey for a lot of teams down the stretch, even though the Rangers won games. But you're not going to win games like that in a playoff on a consistent basis with a freeway zone in your own zone. And the only other thing I want to see too, I don't want to see any flyaways. What I call flyaways? You go down the ice, you go to the boards, you go into the corner, and you got a chance to hit a guy. Don't fly away from him. Take the body, because the Devils, I think, overall are slightly faster. And that's the key for the Rangers right there. Make the hits when the opportunity arises. Don't fly away from. Clean up the Z zone, and the last but least, Paulie, power play has to work. This is what you got all these guys together for.
Yeah.
You got arguably one of the best puck handlers on the point with Adam Fox. You put it, I don't know whether it's going to be Panarin on the point. You got Kane, you got Zibanejad, you got Trocheck, you got Kreider. You know what I mean? You got a bunch of guys here that have all been scorers at one time or another for one team or another. They have to work. You can't go 0 for 3 in a playoff series game. You can't go 0 for 4. You got to be consistent. And if they're consistent enough, that power play as a whole, whatever 5 guys they have out there, including the 3 other guys they can put out there, is probably as good as any in the league right now. That includes McDavid and the boys.
Yeah.
So that's my say on it. I'm going to take the Rangers, and I'm going to take them in 7.
So, I mean, obviously, I can't go against the Rangers. I got to go Rangers. We both got to go Rangers.
It's like me. I would never pick the Capitals. Remember?
Right. I mean, I'm not going to go against the Rangers, especially in this series, because I think the Rangers win this series. I think they can win this series. I think they match up pretty well, like you said. I mean, they have an offensive juggernaut, and I think I think Gallant's done a good job to kind of really get a feel on who's playing with who and how well they're playing. I think Tarasenko is huge.
Yeah, I forgot about him. Another guy you put on the power play.
I think Tarasenko's huge in this series. I think the kid line is huge in this series. I think the fourth line is huge in that series. So I don't disagree. I think we've talked about this time and time again. When you talk about the power play, the reason we went out and got all these players, these 2 very big main pieces, is this is a series where I think goaltending is key and power play versus penalty key is key. I think the Rangers have to execute the power play against the Devils in this series. If they can do that, I think offensively they have the advantage. Now, obviously, like you said, I mean, you got to play decent 5-on-5. You got to tighten up.
Well, I got it with this team. They're so fast.
Cots, I mean, I know it probably won't happen, but would you be opposed? And I'm throwing this out there because I'm going to bait you a little bit, just so you know. But would you be opposed if Keandre Miller maybe sat Game 1 against the Devils?
No.
Do you think?
No, because, listen, Keandre Miller's had an up and down season. He's looked really, really super at times. You know what I mean? And yet he's looked really bad at times too. I mean, you can't sugarcoat it. Here's the way I look at it. I don't think you're going to see that. Only for one reason only. I don't think the Devils are that overly a physical a team. Okay? Right. So you don't have to worry about that part. The time to put Harper in the lineup is when the games start to get a little bit more physical, a little more chippy, a little more dirty.
The Bruins.
Tampa, the Bruins, yeah. Whoever. I don't see the Devils like that. I'm not going to say the Devils are weak physically. They're not. But I don't see them being overboard with it. So you're not going to see that. But, I just shake my head sometimes at Keandre. He's such a talent. But, 6'4", 218 pounds, whatever he is, you got to play like it once in a while. And if there's ever a time for him to play like it, it's now. That's all I'm saying about it. I know you baited me, but it is what it is.
I got the beer burps, bro. No. Well,
by the way, the goaltender for the Devils ain't too shabby either. Never heard of the guy till this year. Vitek Vanacek. I mean, he's take a look at his record and his wins.
Yeah.
Wasn't Mackenzie Blackwood supposed to be their number one goalie?
Yeah.
Well, he's not anymore.
Yeah. I really getting back and going to finish up real quick on this series is that I think that the Rangers can really do themselves a huge service in this series when it comes to beating the Devils and moving on to the second round. I think the Devils have really took it to the Rangers this year. We looked at they have only played 3 games. The Devils beat them twice. They actually came back and beat the Rangers. The Rangers had like a 3-0 lead, and the Devils wound up winning the game 4-3 late in the third period. So the Devils have confidence against the Rangers over the season series. I think the Rangers only beat them in a shootout. So I was looking at that before. So I think, again, like we said, goaltending, I think we all know that Igor has to be great no matter what. The Rangers do give up chances because they're a very passing east-west.
They're a gambling type passing team.
So
gambling type passing team.
Yeah. So I don't know. I again, power play is going to be key. Igor is going to be key, and then obviously the acquisitions of guys like Tarasenko. Tarasenko.
I like Tarasenko when he was with the Rangers.
Yeah, I know. And my final ad there, though, and I will say this: I think for the Rangers to go anywhere, the 2 back lines are so important. So important. Look at Mott and BC and Goodrow. They're actually chipping in the odd goal here and there. They're keeping teams plugged in their own zone. They're forechecking well. They're a force when you get to the back ends of other teams. When you're looking at that line matching up against any other fourth line is pretty good, and they can hold their own when it comes to playing maybe a second or a third line.
See, you're dead on there because
I know
if your fourth line's contributing like they've been, you can't put your fourth line out against them,
right?
Because your fourth line can't compete with them,
right?
So that's an edge for the Rangers. That's an edge for the Rangers. The one last thing I got to mention, though, too, which the only thing that scares me about the Rangers, number one thing that scares me is how many times in the last month did you see players get in behind everybody on a one-pass breakaway?
Yeah.
They got it. I mean,
they got to shut that shit down.
I played the game long enough, okay? And I played, arguably in an era where Gretzky, Lemieux, and all that stuff. I'll be damned if I let anybody behind me more than maybe once or twice a year.
Right.
That would never happen to me because I wasn't fast enough to recover in the first place. So there's absolutely no way I'm going to let somebody get behind me. Rangers have a habit of letting people get behind them.
I don't
can't do that against a team like the Devils because they are fast. One of the fastest teams in the league.
Hopefully, Tots, they make that defensive adjustment. And we know who we're talking about. We're talking about Keandre Miller making too many pinches at the wrong time. Adam Fox pinching at the wrong time. The difference between Fox and Miller is Miller actually can get back.
Yeah, Fox is not a fast skater at all.
Fox can't. He struggles getting back. He doesn't
Fox's game is all in that one area, Paul. He got the puck and he makes people miss and look absolutely foolish.
So
when he has to chase somebody down, I might even in my prime be able to beat him, and that's pretty bad. I'm just kidding, folks.
So they really have got to limit that. I like
I got Rangers in 7. So what do you got?
I mean, I got Rangers.
Hey, Michael Ryback, good to have you on the show. How them Montreal Canadiens? Oh, that's right. Forgot. Never mind.
I got the Rangers. Are we picking how many? I mean, does games matter? Let's go Rangers in 6.
Ooh, I'd like that to happen.
Yeah, me too.
Ryback's got obviously Michael Ryback, the Montreal Canadiens fans, he's just busting our what's here, telling us the Devils in 6. He might be right, but let's hope not.
That'll suck. All right, so we're done in the East.
We're done for the first round. We're not going to get into the other rounds until we find out who's next, who we think is going to be playing.
And we don't even have a full bracket. So
yeah, we don't even know who's who yet.
Right now, let's see. The Vegas Golden Knights, as of right now, would be the number 1 seed
have to
West.
Play Winterpeg.
And they would play Winterpeg.
Winterpeg.
Yeah. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but no, it's Seattle. It's Seattle that had Vegas's number this year. I think I was reading something where they had the season series. Seattle had the season series now. So I'm going to say I like Winnipeg, but I think Vegas beats them, and I'll say 6 games, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's 5 games and it's over. I'm going to say Vegas over Winnipeg in 6 games.
Wow. See, I'm the one that slept on Vegas this year. I've admitted it already to you on the show. So Winnipeg is just like they had a strange season. I know on paper they're so good. Hellebuck's a fantastic goalie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you got all these guys. Scheifele ended up with 40 goals this year. You got all these guys on that team that have been there before. You know what I mean? I guess you know what? Just to be a pain in the ass. What was that? Something dropped. Anyhow, I'd be a pain in the ass. I'm going to take Winnipeg in 7. How's that?
Woo!
Winterpeg. I got to put Winterpeg.
Are you writing me down or no?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I'm not writing you down, but I know what you picked.
Shit.
Winterpeg in 7 over Vegas.
All right. So now let's go. Then it would be Colorado. It looks like it'd be Colorado. There's still a bunch of games out there. Colorado and Dallas both have 2 games left.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We don't know what the hell's going to happen here.
Let's stay where we are. Let's go. Damn, we might have to next week. We got to do a show, but we'll know. We might have to put our picks online on the Instigators page,
just so everybody can laugh at us.
Well, just so because we might be wrong. Anything.
Listen, if I thought I was 1,000% right,
no.
What
I mean is that Colorado and Dallas could switch places.
Oh, I know.
I know. And so could the Islanders and everyone else.
By the time next week's show comes up, we'll know.
That's why I'm saying when it's over, we're going to have to put our picks online.
All right.
So, all right. So we just did. All right. We
did Vegas and Winnipeg.
Okay. So now we're going to go. So Colorado would be number 1 in the Central right now, and they would play Seattle.
Colorado. I'm going
Colorado. I see Colorado coming out.
They were injured early, fell behind by a lot of points, even to get into a playoff spot.
Yeah,
they've come on big time the last 2.5 months, I think they still got enough, and I still think they're going to be probably the team that comes out of the West.
Me too.
You know,
I don't disagree. Well, I mean, you got Edmonton, so Edmonton is a lot scarier this year than they've been in years past. But we'll see. So I agree with you. I'm going to go with Colorado over Seattle, which is a shame because it really felt like Seattle was a little bit of the dark horse over there in the West. But I think Colorado.
I got to give my former teammate Ronnie Francis, who runs the show there, a lot of credit. Taking an expansion team and moving it around that quickly and not just making the playoffs, but actually getting in a pretty good spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know it's a lot easier these days with the expansion teams because of the way they get 4 players from every team they want.
You get the pluck players.
Yeah, you get to pluck them. I mean, that's not the way it was in my day with the expansions. That's right.
Sure. You get to pluck some pretty damn good players. So.
You got to get a player off the beer league somewhere and mix it with a couple of AHL players in our day.
Right. So then we'll just ride it out from here, and we'll just go. So Dallas, Minnesota. I tell you, I really like Minnesota. Both these teams I like a lot. I think they both have a lot of the little intangibles that I like in hockey. That'll be one hell of a series, man. I think it goes 7 games.
I'm gonna go Dallas.
Yeah,
I'm going Dallas on that one.
Yeah, well,
but that one, like you said, it could go either way.
I tell you, I think that's gonna be a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, by the way, did you see the fight last night with Reeves and Lowry?
Yeah, Lowry.
He popped Reeves pretty good at the end of that fight.
I think he held his own for sure.
At the end of the fight, he got Reeves with a good one.
Yeah.
Well, but still, it's still Reeves, so Reeves gets the edge.
Sure. I think I tell you, everyone needs to mark their calendars because I think that series is going to be fun, man. I think that's going to be probably one of the funnest, best series to watch. Dallas, Minnesota. I think that's just going to bring a lot of excitement. I think you're going to see a lot of physical play. I think you're going to see. I just get this gut feeling that there's going to be a lot of fun in that series.
And your boy Zuccarello going to be leading the way physically for Minnesota.
And then Edmonton, LA.
That's going to be a good series. See, that's what I think it's going to be the same as Dallas and Minnesota. LA's not a bad hockey club.
I know you keep saying that.
They proved it all year, didn't they? Did you or I even think they were going to make the playoffs this year?
No, I didn't. I really didn't.
I didn't either.
I didn't think they would be where they are right now. I'll be honest with you. And they
I thought they were going to be one of the bottom feeders.
102 points. I never saw that coming out of LA. I really didn't. I didn't. I think game 1 is going to be very interesting, but I think Edmonton rips through them. I think this goes 6 games, and I go Edmonton in 6.
Well, that's not ripping through them.
Well, I mean, I think Edmonton loses game 1. That's why. I think Edmonton loses the first game, and it just tears them up. And then I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see the better part of Edmonton after that.
I think it's going to go. I think it's going to go the distance. To be honest with you, I do. I think it's going to go the distance because LA's not weak. They're not weak at all, and they've played some pretty good games against Edmonton so far this year that I remember seeing bits and pieces of, and they've found something there in LA. But we gotta be right one of these years with Edmonton, don't we? Right? You just keep taping until they fucking win a series, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm taking them. I'm taking Edmonton.
Yep.
Screw you and your top points and your goals and your leading the scoring and all this crap. Start winning playoff series there in Edmonton, please.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Like I said, I think they drop game 1, and I think they come rip roaring back. I think they drop game 1, and I think they win 3 in a row. And then, I think they might drop 1 and then win 1, but I'd say 6. But I think it's gonna be not an easy 6, but I think they drop the first one and then win 3. That's what I think. I think Edmonton shows themselves once again that they can continue to come back.
I'm even going to write that down. Paulie says they're going to drop the first.
And then win 3 in a row.
Then rip away.
Yep.
There we go. I got it written down. You are now been quoted. Rip away after that. All right. I got a couple of questions for you, okay?
For me. Oh, boy.
Yeah, for you now. Who, out of all the Rangers right now, that people would least expect to come out and have a great playoffs? Which player would you pick?
Tyler Mott.
Okay. Just curious as to who you think.
Tyler Mott. Well, I don't think anybody would be surprised I think Tarasenko is going to really make.
I think you're going to be surprised because the way I'm saying it is I expect offensive production out of him. Yeah. I don't want to hear just about how he had a great defensive game and shut down the power play and all that crap. I want to see like after a 6-game series that 2 goals, 2 assists type stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think Tarasenko is going to be so. If you said out of the players who's going to be the most surprising, I think Tyler.
In other words, like the unexpected guy on the team, you least suspect that's going to be productive and have a great series.
I think Tyler Mott.
You're automatically it's automatic. You're going to think all the top 6, 7 guys.
Right.
We know them, okay. So
I'm going to give you 3 guys that I think you're going to see that are going to impress Ranger fans throughout this, and a lot of people are going to be surprised because I wanted to talk about this. I think Tyler Mott is going to really win over Ranger fans this playoff series, this playoff rounds. He's playing confident. He's quick. That line, I really think that line is going to chip in and really help the Rangers propel forward. If we want to talk about the guys that they picked up and the guys that are part of the core, I think Tarasenko is going to be that guy who's kind of going to break I think Tarasenko is going to be the most clutch guy in the Rangers playoffs. I think he's going to come up with clutch goals and things like that. And I think Ranger fans are going to be very pleasantly surprised when I say this. I think one of the most impressive people going into the playoffs for the Rangers is going to be Lafreniere. You're going to watch Lafreniere do some things during this playoff series that we've been waiting for. I think he's confident. I think he's going now. I think he's finally found himself enough, and he knows that this is really make or break for him. I think he's going to chip in with goals. I think he's going to play a good, solid defensive, but his physical, he can be physical at times too. So I think those 3 players are really going to make the difference for the Rangers.
All right, you froze up for a second there, but you know what? I agree with 2 out of the 3.
Who you got?
I have Lafreniere, which you explained pretty well. I have him. I also have Tarasenko. But I'm going to go with Jimmy Vesey as my third one.
Oh, so we both are on the 4th line now.
I'm going with Jimmy Vesey because I think he's got good hands.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? I expect him to do a little bit more offensively than expected out of a 4th line.
Right.
You know what I mean? So those are the 3 guys right there that I choose. And we're not far off. I mean,
no,
I hope you're right with Mott, and I hope and we're all right with the rest of them, and the other guys do their jobs.
Yeah.
Panera's got to do his job.
Yeah.
Zibbs has got to be the man like he always is.
Yep.
Kreider, you got to do your job. Hedl, the same thing. I mean, I can go down the list here. They got to do their jobs. That's all. But these are the guys that I think are the least. Not everybody's picking Tarasenko to be the lead guy. You know what I mean? He might just end up be that key guy offensively throughout the playoffs for the Rangers if they get past the first round.
I think he's clutch. I think he's going to be the clutch guy.
I admit it. I admit it. At first, I thought he was missing in action the first 2 weeks, but he's acclimated himself well. And you talk about the physicality of the guy. He doesn't actually go out and throw checks. What he does is people that chase him down, he waits for them and gives them the business.
Right.
As Wally Cleaver used to say.
Yeah.
Give them the business.
Yeah. So the thing I like about Tarasenko that I've seen, he's coming into his own. First of all, you talk about a guy who seems actually happy to play hockey. He seems happy. He seems excited to be a New York Ranger.
Looks like it's going to be the Islanders.
Oh, 2 minutes left. Yeah. Well,
sorry, Spit.
So I think here's where I feel Tarasenko. When I say clutch, he's going to be the guy to tie the game up. He's going to be the guy to get the lead goal. You're going to find him scoring in clutch times. I think that's where Tarasenko is really going to show the value of what he brings to the New York Rangers. And then, like I said, I love what you said about VC. I'm high on VC. I love VC. And the reason why I picked Tyler Mott is that line, that fourth line. I think Mott just has a little more speed than VC. I think VC creates a lot more speed.
He's got a lot more speed.
Mott's the kind of guy who will go and get that garbage. VC makes a great shot, tricks a fucking goaltender. You got a rebound, and Mott's the guy who's in there. So I think them together. I'm really excited about that's the line that I really think helped propel the Rangers round after round because, like we talked, they can play against some top teams where you can't do that with your fourth line. And if you can't match up on a fourth line, they have the ability to make you pay. And like you said, Jimmy Vesey's got great hands.
Well, usually your fourth line is that, old school grizzled. We're gonna run you, hit you, fight you, be mean to you, and everything else. Right. Well, those guys will hit that fourth line. There's no question about that. They take the body, but they're not a goon squad. You know what I mean? So if you send out the guys that make pucks square, your fourth line, the guys that turn a puck into a square, right. That's advantage to Mott, VC, and Goodrow.
Right.
You can't put three cavemen on the ice against them.
Right.
You can't do that.
Right. You're going to have to match them up with the minimum of your third line.
That third line out there and then parts of the second line every now and then.
Exactly. And then that leaves your third line playing against somebody's fourth line. So we'll see. It's an exciting time. This is the most exciting time of the year when it comes to hockey. And I'm high on the Rangers for a lot of different things. I know a lot of fans have, and my two, I've wavered and I felt like I think that the pieces are there. I'm just not sure if they understand that the pieces are there and how to put it all together. Like you said, though, I think the other thing is I think the X factor for the New York Rangers is what Chris Kreider does. I think Chris Kreider has to be the Chris Kreider that we've come to know in earlier years where he can be a little more physical and use that big body and positioning and winning puck battles because, we all know what Zibanejad can do. So, if Chris Kreider can make some room out there and get in the goalie's way and just and be able to win some puck battles, that's how that line goes. And then obviously that's how the Rangers go.
I'm going to get back to Tarasenko before we end this show. I think the more I watched him, and as an ex-player, I think he actually enjoys the fact that he's not the limelight,
right?
On the team, where he was basically the limelight in St. Louis.
Yeah,
because you're bringing Kane, 3-time Stanley Cup winner. You got Panarin, you got Zibanejad, you got Fox, all stars at one time or another. Kreider, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And him coming in, I think he actually likes the fact that he can kind of hide under these guys' wings a little bit and go out and not have all the heat from the media, not have all the heat from the fans, not have all the pressure that a guy that's supposed to produce for you game in, game out. And I think he enjoys it. And that's why he's come up with some of those goals you're talking about towards the end of the season. You know what I mean? Making big plays and big passes and pretty good moves and stuff like that. I actually am glad they traded for him. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Me too. I mean, I think, there's a good point in there, not being the guy, not having to be the guy for Tarasenko.
Even though he has the ability to be the guy.
Right. Well, that gives him the ability now, like you said. He doesn't fly under the radar a little bit more.
He doesn't want to step into that spotlight. That's the way he looks to me on the ice.
Right.
Like, I don't want to be the guy they talk about all the time. I just want to be the guy that you read about all the time.
Yeah.
Like, on the score sheet.
Hopefully that's the reason and the component that he brings in the playoffs now, because like you said, you got the Zibanejad, you got the Fox, you got the Panarin. Let's not forget Rangers went out and got the guy, in Vinny Trocheck, who can kind of
20. He got exactly what we expected out of him. He got 20 plus goals.
He can play a little bit of a grittier style, and he still does have the ability to put the puck in the net. And I mean, over the last couple of games, and I don't know what it is. I don't know the last 6 or 8 games. His face-off percentages have really climbed, and that's important, man. That's face-offs are really important come playoff time when you're trying to gain the possession on the power play or get the puck out of the zone on the penalty kill.
I'm glad you said that at the end, because I don't care if you win 19 in a row when it doesn't count. That's
no, when
they count. When they count.
The power play.
Win those damn face-offs on a high percentage. You're doing your job. If you're killing a penalty in your own zone, win the damn face-off. If you're protecting a lead, win the damn face-off.
I got to be honest to everyone, and I know they're going to be really happy when they hear me say this. I think the Rangers have a really good shot this year, guys. I think the biggest scariest giant out there are the Boston Bruins, but I don't feel like, if we put the Bruins aside, I don't feel like the Rangers can't get it done like I felt in the past against other teams. I think they match up well against teams like Carolina and the Devils. I think they can beat both those teams. Obviously, can they lose? They can lose to both those teams. But I don't sit back and say, I don't know, they're not going to beat the Devils. I say, I think that they can beat the Devils.
I just worry about, in the end, the grind. If they do go rounds, the grind, are they heavy enough in the end?
Right.
That'll be a telltale sign. Are you really heavy enough? When I say that, I mean physically strong enough to compete game in, game out, when the games get a little bit tighter and a little bit more dirtier and a little bit more chippier and a little bit more meaner. That is still going to be a big guess for everybody.
Do you think Patrick Kane is going to be a difference maker for the New York Rangers?
I think he'll be better than what he was. Only because the reason why I say this is his time to shine. This is when he shined throughout his career in Chicagoland. Playoffs. Everything you've done is great in the regular season. I mean, it's all great and all that, but you know what? Nobody really cares. The player I know from the little I played in the playoffs, what we did in the regular season means absolutely nothing once you start playing the playoffs.
Right.
It means nothing. Whether you were good, whether you were bad, whether you were so-so. I mean, I'll give you a good example. Toronto one year, only because Detroit was like one of the worst teams in the league. We were like probably the 5th or 6th worst team in the league. Once the playoffs started, we beat the Chicago Blackhawks 3 straight. They had 104 points. We had like 69. Okay? So in other words, we all outperformed our regular season as an individual. I think Patrick Kane's gonna. The only thing there's one thing I want to see him do.
Shoot the puck.
Thank you. Stop giving up the opportunity to feed Panarin or feed somebody else or Kreider. You got a chance to score. Shoot the puck.
Yeah.
But I can say that about everybody on the top 7 Ranger guys. For some reason, they still want to be submissive and make the other guy feel better by trying to feed him. Screw that. This is playoff hockey now. Be the man when you get a chance. Be the man. Take the shot.
What I don't want to see is the lazy starts.
Oh,
I don't think we'll see that because it is the playoffs. But the Rangers have more comeback wins than anybody else in the league.
You don't want to count on that shit in the playoffs.
I know. I get you. I think they have 23 comeback wins. That's a lot.
Well, that means you're good in one thing, but you're not good in another.
So, got to get big starts, and you want to play with a lead. And that's the one thing that concerns me with the Rangers is that haven't really seen them play well this year with a lead. So we'll see.
It's a new ball game, big boy.
Yeah. Anyway, next week, I'm thinking Tuesday if it works for you, man.
There it is. That's the closest I ever got to one. Right there, folks.
You hear me?
I hear ya.
Next week, I'm thinking Tuesday. I don't know when the playoffs actually going to
start. We got to figure out what the hell's going on with the playoffs first, too, though.
So,
Tuesday until further notice.
All right. With that being said, I'm piecing the freak out, bro.
So it's final. The Islanders and Pittsburgh and Washington are out. Where's my pom-poms?
The Islanders are in. I think they're in now officially.
That's what I just said. They're in officially now. Yeah, Pittsburgh can't catch them. Pittsburgh's only got one game left. They don't get 3 points for a game, Paulie.
Okay, so are they they're 3 points back?
They're right? Up on them. The Islanders are now in.
So that's that for that.
Pittsburgh's going to get the coal mine digging stuff out, and Washington they're going to go crab fishing. They're going to go crab fishing in Washington. Crab fishing.
It's now official. Florida and the Islanders have clinched the wild cards. So Florida doesn't even need that game tomorrow now.
No. That's why last night's game, Pittsburgh losing to Chicago was just absolute embarrassing if you're the Pittsburgh Penguin organization. They lost to the Chicago Blackhawks in a must-win game. Had they won that game, they would have controlled their own destiny. The Islanders had no hope.
Yeah.
But when Pittsburgh lost that game last night, the Islanders controlled their destiny.
So, hold on now. Florida plays tomorrow. If they lose and Pittsburgh won their last game, they would be tied in points.
Doesn't matter.
So Florida must have won the season series against Pittsburgh.
Doesn't matter.
That's how it matters.
Pitt's out.
Yep.
So is Washington. Go blue crab hunting there, Alex.
So Sid and Alex will be fishing together.
I can't wait to see him win another gold. Whatchamacallit, those chocolate going cold coins that they get for the World Championships when nobody's there?
Now, tomorrow, if Carolina wins, and New Jersey, when does New Jersey play? Do they play tomorrow as well?
I don't know because I'm not talented enough like you to go from one screen to another. I can go to a screen, but then you lose me. And I'll come back.
So let me say here something. Because, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Okay, Carolina plays Panthers tomorrow. And then when did the Devils play?
Can the Devils catch Florida is basically what you're looking at.
Well, can they catch Carolina?
That's what I mean. Carolina. Yeah. Yes, Beth says.
I know they can.
They want to finish 7, Richard says, to avoid Boston.
So, Devils play the Capitals tomorrow.
Your boy Alex is not playing, by the way.
And Hurricanes play Panthers. So if Panthers win and Devils win, Rangers play Hurricanes.
All right.
Just telling you.
All right.
So tomorrow really kind of matters. Tomorrow really matters.
The Rangers will either be driving across the bridge. Okay.
Yeah, well,
driving across the bridge into Newark, or they'll be taking a short flight into Carolina, where Andy Griffith lives.
A Devils win and the Carolinas loss is what we need. That's what we need. If no other faction works. Carolina gets a point and the Devils get a point, then the Carolinas are so you gotta have a Devils win tomorrow and a Carolina loss or tie.
It don't matter. Let's get it started.
All right. Well, that's that for that. Looks like tentatively it will be Tuesday of next week. The next show, where I gotta think tomorrow's what, Thursday?
Yeah.
When do they actually have they come up with the when do the playoffs start this weekend?
Probably.
Or does it start Monday?
It might start Sunday. You know, I don't know. I haven't looked at the schedule. I don't think they predetermined anything yet because of the, you know, they got to match shit up with these buildings too. You know what they had scheduled to be in these buildings. You know.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, all I know is basically everything's in order. We know all the teams that are in. It's just a matter of which particular order.
I didn't write down my picks, so I got to write down my picks.
We only got like two different, you and I, overall. Yeah. Just amount of
doesn't matter. It's on video anyway.
There you go.
All right, everyone. We'll see you next week. Let's go Rangers. Tomorrow night, you know.
I will be there at Madison Square Garden tomorrow. I'm doing an event with Ron Greshner, my former teammate, tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
We're doing something before the game at 5. The limo will be picking us up here in Pennsylvania at 2:30, and we're going to have a good night.
Nice. Let's have Ron on. Tell him we want to have him on.
I want to get him on, and we're going to get him on, and we're going to get Ken Carlson on, too. I still want to get him on. We can get him on during the playoffs.
Well, I can get another person. So all I got to do is get the email.
All right, I'll get in touch with him, and I want to get him on because he was a guy that came out of college, out of I think New Hampshire, up there, and he ended up playing for the Montreal Canadiens, and he was I could tell the quick story, and I'll probably tell it that night when we did. I'm playing in Hartford, and they had this kid in the lineup in there in Montreal, and he comes over to the bench, and I see this guy where his knuckles are scraping the ice as he's skating, and they put him on left wing up in front, Paulie. And I was cross-checking the shit out of him and everything else, and him hacking him and everything else in front of the net, trying to show my veteran, like, hey, what are you doing, punk kid, Next thing you know, we were dropping the gloves, and I thought I was kicking the crap out of him, and I was. I was giving it to him pretty good. Then out of nowhere, he did a punches like this, and he hit me one. It stopped me. It didn't knock me out, but it stopped me. So you got to give the kid a lot of credit. You know what I mean? From that time on, I mean, I remember playing against him in St. Louis. He got traded to St. Louis a couple times. We had a couple of words then too. But I think Chrissy Nyland, the night in Hartford, we were all in the bar at Chuck's Steakhouse, which was in the building, Hartford. Anybody remembers that? He came in the bar, and Knuckles Nyland was there, and I was talking with Knuckles, and Kent was standing beside him. I think Kent had like a couple stitches. I gave him a couple, but I also had a black eye. You know what I mean? And Knuckles looked at both and goes, "That was a pretty fucking good fight." But he's also a guy that, when he retired from hockey, heavy into drugs, heavy into everything. He had to recover from everything. Yeah, one of those. I reached out to him on Facebook. We started talking a little bit over the years, and he's rebounded pretty good. You know what I mean? Good. I don't want to get him on unless he wants to talk. If he wants to talk about what happened, that's good. That's his business. I just want to talk about good old days. Hey, what was it like if you go to a training camp for the Montreal Canadiens with Larry Robinson on the team and stuff like that? Yeah. You know what I mean? And we'll discuss our little scrap and shit like that. You know? Yeah, that's all. I just want to get him on. See, to me, he's actually got people that like. In other words, if we announce that he's coming on, we'll get a lot more listeners. Let's put it that way.
All right, well, good.
All right, big boy. All right, I'll try and get Gus to come on next week. How's that?
All right, good.
But we got to make sure the date's right, because we can't say you're going to be on Tuesday. Oh, Gus, you can do Wednesday instead.
No.
We got to find out exactly.
Remember, next week I'm going to be.
Playoffs start Monday. He said.
Yeah. So. We might have to. Don't say anything to Gresh yet. We'll probably, we got to see the schedule. If the Rangers play Tuesday, we're not going to be on.
No, I know.
So we'll have to go from there.
Did you see what Duguay was doing last week?
No, what was he doing?
Something that I don't know what the fuck it's called. Charm or something. Where he's on like this right here from his house while the game's on, talking with people.
Oh, yeah?
The fuck is that all about?
Well, I mean...
in other words, they're paying to talk to him while the game's on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like us, you and me bullshit when the game's on.
Gotcha.
I have no idea what that is.
Right.
Anyhow, I'm going to try and see if this thing comes up here before you go. Because it never came up yesterday. Okay? Where are you here?
Well, you might have to turn your phone off and make sure it works.
See, it starts to go like the blue line at the top. What's going all the way? This stopped. Stopped again. It says IHS for Creator Spring, but it stops. You can't see that, but it doesn't come up.
That's strange.
It could be because we get bad fucking shit here too, though. I want to get it up because if I can get it up, then I can ask Cody to put it on our website, my website too. You know what I mean?
We got a new merchandise. Make sure you check it out. Beth, please put that on. Put it on the Instigators Hockey Show website and wherever else. Get that link, that merchandising link up and running. I'm done with Shopify, so we got rid of them. They robbed me for $50. It's all right.
Fuckers, let's go get them.
It is what it is.
Put our helmets on and our fucking tape. Get the tin foil on, Paulie.
You should never rob from the Instigators Hockey Show.
Let's get the tin foil on and go after them.
Yeah. Step to Slim Jim.
Macho.
All right, here we go.
That was a great commercial. Fuck.
Yeah, I know, right? All right. Well, listen, guys, we're out of here. We'll see you next week. Possibly Tuesday. Looks like Monday starts.
Thanks everybody for showing up. You too, Alex.
Yeah.
Go Leafs.
Yeah. And we'll see how it goes next week, and then that's it. Make sure you're on the Instigators Hockey Show, please. The Facebook group is really a good indicator. You can see all our shows from there. All the links are from there. And then obviously, if you're part of the team, you'll be able to get all the new stuff that's coming. You'll be able to we're going to start advertising a bunch of stuff. Kristen's website's almost up and running. It's going to have memorabilia. We're going to be bringing on former players soon again. Chris and I, God, bro, we've been doing this for about 13 years now, 14 years.
My hair was a little darker and a little thicker then.
I'm a little bit older. But, all right. Yes, wiser. Let's go, Rangers. We'll see you next week. Good night, everybody.
See ya. Do me